So finally, we have middle stage starters.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon discussion. In this particular video, we're going to talk about the information that was revealed this morning on October 4th. That's right, I'm making this video particularly early because I don't expect there's anything going to be revealed for a while, so I might as well just do it now. Since I've already digested what I thought of the trailer and stuff, we can just go ahead and move on. Also want to apologize to my hair. Unfortunately, doing some testing, it doesn't look like there's really anything I can do. I don't have gel or anything. I guess that's just what happens when you get a haircut, and it grows slowly, but you know, whatever. So we'll just move on into this particular video. So we're going to talk about the starter evolutions and some features and some other nice feature that we saw at the end of the trailer, if you know what I'm talking about. So of course, let's jump right into the starter evolutions, and of course we're going to talk about Rowlett's evolution, or Dartrix. So in my opinion, it looks pretty cool. Definitely would rate it second as my 7th generation starters, my favorite, second place. I'm not sure I like the concept of it being too vain or proper or fiddled with its appearance or cares about its appearance, because you know when I'm playing Sun and Moon, and if I were to have Rowlett as my starter as a Pokemon and I evolve it into Dartrix, the last thing I want to do is issue a command to Dartrix, and Dartrix has a hand mirror looking at its appearance because it just got hit by an attack by its opponent. You know, no one's got time for that. So yeah, its design is pretty nice, I guess. You know, I don't know how I feel about the whole hair thing that it has on its head or whatever, but it's still pretty okay and decent or whatever, and of course we'll go ahead and talk about it. So, as for information on Dartrix, there is some snippets that I have here that I recorded in regards to Dartrix, and these are just big bullet points, but there's some more information that if you want to go look on Pokemon.com, you can. So, it's known as the Blade Quill Pokemon. Also, for all three, there's no reason to mention their abilities or typing because they've pretty much stayed the same. So I'm just going to talk about their classification and details about them. So it's the Blade Quill Pokemon, Dartrix, and it's sensitive to other presences and can detect opponents behind it. It conceals sharp-bladed feathers. It can bend feathers it throws to change their trajectories. It's snobbish or vain. When it makes mistakes, it tends to make the mistakes bigger. You know, like for example, if you spilled over milk and you try to clean it, but you grab the whole roll of toilet or paper towels, but when you're trying to like roll that up, you like knock over like milk or well, something else over, and it spills, and you're trying to clean that, and it like causes a chain reaction is what it seems like it does when it tries to fix their mistakes. It looks like if it's dirty or has ruffled feathers, it will lose focus and will sometimes retire for battle. That's also something that I don't necessarily like about this particular Pokemon, but it's whatever. We also saw that from Pokemon Refresh that while it enjoys its trainer petting its bow tie, the leaf thing or whatever, because it was excited about that in the trailer, we also saw that it doesn't like it when you touch your hair because it gets all like, what are you, did you just touch my hair? And then all of a sudden it like acts all shocked or whatever. So there's a little bit more information on Pokemon.com, but that's pretty much it. So of course, let's run into Litten, and you know, we have Torracat. You know, like Litten, this is my favorite 7th generation Pokemon, you know, at least until it evolves into a bipedal wrestler tiger, but I'll talk about that after Popplio's evolution. But Torracat is awesome. It's like this bigger version of Litten, and it has a bell on it, you know, and I'll discuss what that bell actually is. And I liked it when you touch the bell in Pokemon Refresh, and you burned your mouse cursor or whatever. I think I said that later, but I'll just say it now in my notes that I have, you know. And then at the end of the trailer, it acts like a cat. You know, I as someone who has been around a lot of cats, that is something very noticeable about cats, is when they do that last thing Torracat did before it went to Popplio's evolution. So yeah, I definitely like it, you know. And I don't know if I've said this, but even though I would prefer not to take care of any animals like pets or anything, because uh, I just am burnt out. I am more of a cat person, even though I take care of way too many cats. They're not all ours, but they flock to our house, and I'm burnt out for animals. But yeah, I am technically a cat person over like a dog person or whatever. So maybe that's kind of why I'm like leaning toward Litten more, you know, outside of its final evolution. But blah blah blah. Anyway, Torracat is the fire cat Pokemon. It has like this bell-like object, like you saw in the picture, on its neck, but it's actually a flame sac capable of producing flames. We saw this. We saw this in the trailer when Torracat was like up in the air or whatever, and it like launched this like flame attack from its flame sac, and we actually saw. I guess that's pretty interesting. It's kind of strange that it's kind of the same with like Braixen and that line where Fennekin could breathe fire. We saw a little bit of this Litten animation of it spitting this fiery hairball at its opponent, but like Braixen, it uses its fire magic through the twig that it uses as a wand, and that's kind of similar to Torracat, which uses its flame sac like an item, although it's probably part of its body because I think it's referred to as an organ. But you know, and then it just like launches flame attacks. It's kind of weird that that happens. You know, it doesn't breathe fire, at least right now. Maybe it can. I guess we'll just have to depend on the moves it uses, but it looks like it only produces flames from that flame sac, which is different than most other Pokemon. I think even Braixen and Delphox could theoretically use fire attacks from their mouth, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Torracat is the same. So, of course, and that's pretty much it for that almost, but there's this little part. So it has a great sensory organ that can detect the presence of hidden enemies. Torracat loves to fight and punch with its forelegs, bending iron arms and knock out large men. I don't know why it missed it, but it also said that it attacks relentlessly its opponents until they have no will to fight or something like that. That's all important after I talk about Popplio's evolution. So, of course, let's jump right into that. And, of course, we get into Brionne. At least that's what other people in the YouTube comments that I've seen, that's how you pronounce it, is Brionne, I believe. So, when I first saw Brionne, I was horribly confused, actually. Like, why does Popplio evolve into that? And it wasn't necessarily a negative. You'll see why I felt that. And while I did manage to get over my confusion, I still have to wonder why it evolves into this. It is technically, of the three, my least favorite, just like Popplio, but it's still kind of cute and adorable and stuff, but it is weird. Now, my issue with it, and it's probably why I was ultimately confused as to why it was, outside of some slight design apprehension that I had or whatever, at least with its official artwork, the in-game looked a lot better, at least in my opinion. So one thing, I guess the games did better than the artwork. But you know, the problem that I have with Brionne, and it is, I could imagine if you were to stick Popplio and Breon, you would obviously that there's this huge difference between the two. But personally, when I look at Breon, I see a basic stage of a Pokemon. It's like this is what Popplio should have looked like, and maybe they should have done a little bit more, because even though you could see the you could make the argument that Breon is definitely different looking than Popplio, so it at least technically looks like a evolution, because you had Popplio with its collar, and then that collar turned into like some sort of like tutu of some sort or whatever. But it still doesn't seem right to me as a middle stage starter, unlike say Dartrix, which really does look like an evolution to Rowlett. Because Rowlett was just like, what did some people call it, a potato, a football or something, some sort of soccer ball or whatever. But Dartrix actually looks like this tall owl thing. It looks like it might be able to come to your like knees or even your waist or something. So it looked like an evolution. And of course with Torracat, it looked a little bit bigger and a little bit buffer, and it looked like an evolution. But then we get to Breon, it's kind of strange because it just looks like an alternative form to Popplio or a basic stage. So that's my apprehension to it. So let's of course move on. Breon is known as the pop star Pokemon. I think I forgot to say Torracat is Firecat. Maybe I did say that. I just remembered. But so Breon is the pop star Pokemon. It imitates dances from other members of its colony or whatever Pokemon.com said. I kind of took that out to make my notes, but it also includes humans. It watches humans dancing. Breon creates balloons by dancing, which is really nice. I think we heard something about that in regards to Popplio creating balloons, so hopefully that's some sort of signature move or a new water type attack that Popplio line can learn, which would be really interesting. So then it says, on moonlight nights, you can see the throngs of Breon dancing. And it also says it always acts cheery and positive when sad, except it does show its sadness to Pokemon or trainers that have opened its heart completely. Now, I neglected to mention this because we're just going to go straight into this. That's all I wanted to say about the middle stages and everything. That's all the information we have on that. But there is something that I do take notice of Breon, and it does look like a little girl. And the reason why I say that is because it's important in regards to the Chinese leaks, and I will, of course, talk about that in regards to that. So let's talk about the Chinese leak starters. The Archer, Wrestlers, Siren Pokemon. So are they 100% confirmed? Well, even if you were to ignore Mallow being on Litten's Final Evolution starter page, even though that would be hard to even ignore. I mean, even if you were to say it was just a coincidence, like, let's see, well, I'm going to fake these starters, these final evolutions, it looks kind of like maybe that's what they're going for. How do I fake it? Let's put some, oh, Ash Ketchum from the anime. Let's go ahead and put him. Let's put a girl. Now let's see what would be an interesting design. Let's have the like weird hair kind of thing going on. Maybe a flower because it's the Alola region and stuff. But there is design and descriptions in regards to all of these middle stage starters that the leaker that leaked these Chinese leaks could not have known, and that gives more credibility, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But that's not all. There is something else that we need to discuss. I don't know if they're going to get split evolutions for them, somewhat similar to Lycanroc, midday or midnight form, or something similar to that. But this is the main reason why I'm talking about the starter final evolutions, because I want to discuss a little bit more, because it seems possible, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure. So let's, of course, go to Dartrix. So what leads credence to it evolving into that Archer Pokemon we saw? Well, first off, its name and its description. Its name is Dartrix. Dart. And, a dart, you throw at darts, get the bullseye and stuff. And you could look logically at a dart as sort of like a pre-evolution to an arrow. Like, for example, if there was like a 2-stage or 3-stage, you would imagine a dart, probably evolving into an arrow. And hypothetically, even though it doesn't matter for this analogy, it probably would evolve further into some sort of spear-like creature. But it would make sense for a dart to evolve into an arrow, so of course that would make sense, but that's not entirely all. Even if you were just saying, oh, that's just a name, Dartix, blah, 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 but its description specifically says that it conceals a bladed feather in its wings, and it uses that as a dart. It like launches that as a dart, so it could make sense. Now, going back, of course, to the image of Dartrix over here, we can see those orange things on its wings or whatever, and I'm assuming that's where the bladed feathers are or whatever, and, and it could relate to Archer only like throwing the tip of an arrow or a dart. So it makes sense for it to evolve into an arrow because we actually saw in the owl art, the final evolution, the Archer Pokemon, we see it using its wing as like a bow, and it Vine Whip or whatever, a move similar to Vine Whip as the bowstring, and a feather as an arrow. So it makes perfect sense. Now, why would it also make sense for Dartrix to have a split evolution or a different form? The one thing that we can infer from Rowlett's supposed final evolution is that it's a stealthy Pokemon. It hides in the tree, it hides behind its face or whatever, and because it like has a hood on, and it actually showed its real face underneath that hood, and it's stealthy. It's kind of like how Robin Hood may have been depicted in some of those movies, wearing a hood of some sort, and hiding itself, being stealthy, firing an arrow from the thing. Why would that make any sense for a Pokemon middle stage evolution if the middle stage was all about its appearance and it likes to be flashy, likes to look at itself in the mirror or whatever? So I think that might lead credence to it potentially evolving into the hooded form. Maybe it was disgusted by its appearance when it evolved and hooded or whatever. Or maybe it has an alternative form where it exemplifies that vainness that Dartrix actually had, and maybe we'll get something different. So that's what I think it would make sense for it to have a split evolution or change of an appearance, because Dartrix was all about its appearance, but we get the Archer Pokemon, which seems to indicate that it's all about hiding and stealth or whatever. And I kind of have a hard time imagining the Archer Pokemon, privately looking at itself in a hand mirror or whatever, just to display some of its vainness or whatever. So anyway, let's run into Torracat. Now, why would it make any sense for Torracat to evolve into that wrestler bipedal Pokemon? Well, there's a few things. The first is the bell-like flame sacks, which could theoretically evolve into that belt we saw, and we saw that belt heating up like tea from a kettle. We also saw it using a fire attack from that belt. So if the belt acts as like a flame sack for the final evolution, then it would make perfect sense. But there's also some other things that we need to talk about. Now, if you look at Litten, the only special marking that Litten has is on its face. This is also apparent on Torracat. So if you were to come up with a counter argument, it wouldn't work because, you know, because of that particular reason. Because, well, it just shares that face marking on its face of Litten. So saying that it moved it to its back wouldn't make any sense. What I'm talking about is Torracat has this red-orange marking on its back, and it's very similar in shape in regards to the final evolution. Yeah, so if you look at Torracat, he has that marking on its face, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the back, there's this orange character. It's like a line, and it's got like two other horizontal lines, And we kind of see that in regards to the final starter evolutions with, of course, Litten's final evolution. We have a line and two dashes in the same spot. Considering Litten doesn't have anything on its back, maybe its front. I don't quite remember if Litten had anything on its front, but to just come up with something like that, come up with a similar design for something like that in regards to its so we don't see we see Litten here or whatever, and it doesn't have anything as smooth back or whatever. So my point is, if the Chinese starter leaks were fake, then it wouldn't make any sense for Litten's evolution, straight up evolution, Torracat to have that same marking that Litten's supposed final evolution has. Even though, yeah, they are different colors, but they are very similar. So that's why it makes sense that it would be. But that's, of course, not all. There is some other information that we need to discuss, and for some reason I can't. Okay, there we go. Let's see. So, yeah, it would be hard for me to believe that was the case. So, and there's also two things in the description that we need to discuss. It will relentlessly attack, and it can punch. This would indicate to me potentially a wrestler evolution of a dark typing, the supposed main speculation of Litten's final evolution, which is a wrestler and potentially a dark type. It attacks relentlessly. That sounds kind of darkish to me, and it can punch foes and stuff, so it looks like it has some fighting aspects. It loves to fight or whatever, and that kind of sounds like a wrestler to me. Does it sound like one to you? So that's Torracat. Now here's Brionne. Now, Brionne is by far the most obvious. When you look at Brionne and you look at the Siren final evolution for Popplio, you can't help but think that they are related in some fashion. Now, unfortunately, in my opinion, it looks like there's a stage missing, but you know, whatever, Game Freak, you do whatever it is you do. And what I said earlier is that Brionne looks like a little girl in a tutu or whatever, and then the supposed Siren evolution looks like a full-fledged woman feminine character or whatever. So that's one thing or whatever. And of course, I'm not sure what the hairstyle is called. I think it's the pigtails that I think Brionne has or whatever. If you notice, its pigtails seem to like be pearls or something of that nature. It's kind of in the shape of pearls. And what do we get in Popplio's final evolution? We get pearls all over. We get pearl hair scrunchie type things in its hair, wrapped around its hair, but it also forms like some sort of crown or whatever. You know, and the tails are remarkably similar. I mean, I don't think Popplio, Popplio, if I'm not mistaken, has a slightly different tail than the final evolution, but then of course we got Brionne, which has a very remarkably similar tail. So that would seem to indicate to me that, yeah, it is confirmed, you know. Uh, and of course, Brionne is known as the pop star Pokemon, which a pop star, of course, is a famous and successful singer or performer of pop music. This is important because it applies to Brionne because Brionne dances, which I think could be regarded as a pop star in regards to the performer part of the definition. But its final evolution is stated to be a siren, and a siren is a mythical, beautiful creature that lures its victims, so to speak, with its singing voice. Pop star singing. It's clear as day to me that the starter evolutions are confirmed. We're getting an archer, a wrestler, and a siren. I cannot think of any reason why this wouldn't be the case. Now, of course, we get into one of the problems of this particular part, and it's in regards to, could Brionne have a split evolution form? If there was any proof that the middle evolutions, if there was any proof from the middle evolutions that would point to the starters not having alternative forms, I would have to say it would be Brion. And that's because I can't imagine there being a split evolution in regards to Brion. Now, of course, there are some things that I will touch upon or whatever, but unlike Dartrix and Torracat, it seemed like, oh, okay, well, it's obvious that they would. Oh, crap. Oh, I messed up. Why would Torracat have a split evolution? I am so sorry. I neglected to forget about that. Well, the thing about Torracat is that it's a quadruped, and the description makes notes of sensing its presence of hidden enemies, which implies to me that it would have a different evolution outside of a wrestler, because it being a quadruped is not something that the final evolution would point to, and of course, it being able to sense its enemies that are hiding doesn't really sound like a wrestler, because in wrestling, unless you're doing some weird match of some kind, there would be no need to know where the presence of your enemies are, because they're right there, you know. I mean, sure, knowing that they'll like strike you from behind, like in a tag battle or whatever, might be interesting or whatever for WWE, but I don't know if it'd make any sense for Torracat or whatever, or its final evolution. So yeah, like Dartrix and Torracat, they all seem to indicate that there would be split evolutions, but Brion, it's like, what else could it really evolve into or whatever? You know, that wouldn't at least seem like a stretch or whatever. The only things that I can think of, and I'm not sure how much this would make any sense, at least in comparison to Torracat and Dartrix, is that instead of a singer like Siren, maybe it becomes some sort of ballerina type Pokemon. That would make some sense given that Brion has a tutu. You know, it could become a ballerina type Pokemon, you know, and that might make some sense with the tutu that it has, that Brion has or whatever, but I just don't know. It would just seem very unlikely at this particular moment. So it's like, it seems more likely to me that Dartrix and Torracat would lead to the possibility of there being split evolutions or form differences or something. But Brion looks like, you know, hey, we're just going to evolve into the Siren Pokemon. You know, if it happens, if we get some sort of ballerina Pokemon for Brion's direct evolution or Popplio's final evolution as an alternative form, that's fine. But I don't know. Would it be like a clown or something else? It's just kind of hard for me to imagine anything else. So, of course, if not split evolutions or form differences, what could the starter's secret be? It doesn't seem like it's related to Lycanroc, so I don't know what their secret would be, and I don't know if I've discussed this possibly because I have a problem with the supposed Lycanroc, the way that it's handled or whatever. And you know, I have to say, if the starter secret has nothing to do with a form change of some kind, I almost don't care what their secret is, because there's really nothing that would excite me. I wouldn't care about a exclusive Z move that they can learn. I mean, why would I care about that? I mean, it's just a Z move, you know. I don't have access to Z moves right now, so it's like, sure, you could add signature Z moves all you want, but it's not going to like make much of a difference to me, you know, because I'm really hoping that Z moves don't replace the quota for actual moves, you know. I want actual different moves, you know. I don't want all these Z moves and these exclusive signature Z moves if they can only be used once per battle. You know, it's like, why would I care about that? You know, so I don't know. I just can't think of anything that would ever appeal to me if it's not some sort of form difference or whatever. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see on regards to that. But in regards to you, maybe you'll care when the secret is revealed and it's not anything that I would care about, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So let's hurry up and quickly go through all the features and special stuff, and of course, we'll finish off this particular video. So we run into the festival plaza, which of course is owned by Sophocles. By the way, I didn't know this at the time, but I looked up Pokemon.com or something, and I saw that Sophocles was the owner of the Festival Plaza, so I put that down. So we go into the little Festival Plaza, fun little Festival Plaza section of the game, which has some interesting things. We can like earn festival coins by fulfilling other people's requests, and in the trailer we saw a hungry player. So we take him to a kitchen or somewhere where he can get food. We saw the player riding toros, smashing a whole bunch of rocks in front of the shops. Maybe that opens the shops up, or maybe it's a request to earn extra festival coins or something. Who knows? They weren't really clear on that, other than you can ride toros in the festival uh, plaza. So of course then there are festival coins, which can be used on a variety of shops, to raise like stats like HP or whatever. And then we have like this mysterious item or something, and it said that it had PP up. Maybe it's like different for every time. Maybe one of those times it'll be like a master ball, like 1 in 365 days. Maybe it'll be like a master ball or something. I don't know. But if it was just PP up, it probably would have just said PP set or something like that. So the fact that it said like a mystery set or whatever it said seems to indicate to me that maybe it's random each time. Although that was pretty lengthy. So of course under that there was like Kalos, Univas, Sinnoh, Hoenn, and Johto sets. And I have no idea what those are because those are cheap. Maybe they're like stickers or clothes or something. Who knows what they are? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So of course then let's move on to Pokemon or Pelago, which is for your Pokemon that are in your PC box, which is hosted by a character named Mon apparently. I think he has like a straw hat, or she has a straw hat. I don't know. But so of course then we see uh, when we see Pokepelago revealed, we see this image or whatever, and we see like uh, Crabrawler, Chargebug, and Lycanroc midday form. But why is Lycanroc, drooling, for example? That's kind of fishy there. Could it be the Sunstone that's in the image? Is it Chargebug? Is it Crabrawler? Where is it looking? Calm down there, Lycanroc. So, of course, we have some features of Pelago, which are Isle of Beans, where wild Pokemon might join your game, apparently, or something. You just play with your Pokemon or whatever, and you gather beans that I think may help you with other islands. I don't know what it means for a wild Pokemon to join your game. This is just speculation, so I could be wrong. But if it's as it sounds, it seems that we can capture wild Pokemon this way. This would be interesting if potentially this was how we could get Pokemon with hidden abilities. Pure speculation, no reason. It's hard to say exactly what it means by wild Pokemon joining your game. I don't know if you can have these wild Pokemon on these isles or whatever helping you out or whatever, but they really have no effect outside of just helping you. And maybe in regards to finding treasure, maybe you'll find different things. But speaking of which, Isle of Fun, where you can find valuable items like Sunstone, based on the image with Crabrawler and Chargebug and Lycanroc, or Duskstone, which was actually shown. So maybe we'll find stones, maybe we'll find fossils. Maybe this is where we get the fossils that we can get. It's at least plausible. It would make sense. And of course, we run into Isle Evilup, or Evilup, where you can train your Pokemon, which is pretty cool. I don't know if this particular island has the tropical drinks, or it's something that you can get anywhere. But there are these tropical drunks. Pokemon had decided to add drunks to the game. I don't know why we need humans walking around funny or whatever. But apparently they're in the game. No, these tropical drinks, that could raise like stats like HP or attack stats or or even EXP. There's one raised EXP, and of course we have Isle Groeri. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the name of the island, but we did see in the Japanese trailer that there is an island that looks like we can grow berries. It's not 100% confirmed because Pokemon.com, the English trailer, doesn't seem to have this island, so I don't know if it's just some berry mini game that you get special points after growing your berries, but it does seem like that's what I will assume the island is for in that particular Pelago section, was that it can grow berries. So that's it for Pelago. Now there are just a couple of more things that we need to talk about, and that'll be the end of this particular video. So of course, there are other features involved. Those aren't mostly like competitive. If you like battling, I don't really care all about that much. I don't know if that's a feature that I will play around with all that much, but there is something about battling other players as a special team or something. I don't know what that is. It wasn't really in the trailer. It was just revealed alongside the trailer on the website or something or whatever. Pokemon.com. Pokemon.com would probably be where you want to know about that information, but it's just not something that really suits me at the moment. So, of course, there are other things that I want to talk about. Mega evolutions will be present in the games, and they will, of course, use the Z-Ring. I say, of course, like, we already knew that, but it seemed likely that Z-Rings were going to have a function outside of just Z-moves, and it seems like Z-Ring can be used for Mega Evolution. So there's really nothing more I can say about that right now, because I don't know if there's going to be new Mega Evolutions or not. I would assume there wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was. And of course, you can buy Mega Evolutions at some store where you use battle points. Now, some YouTuber brought this up or whatever and said, "Oh, battle points. Maybe we'll get like some sort of battle frontier, battle maison, or battle tower type situation where you get battle points." And maybe that's it. Maybe it's possible, because we had all of these Mega Stones that were shown, like Gengarite or something. Dexio and Senna, I believe, gave you Alakazamite or whatever, so you can get them that way or whatever. So that's pretty much all I can say about Mega Evolutions, because there wasn't really much to discuss other than, hey, the Z-Ring can be used to Mega Evolve your Pokemon, by the way. Also, the last thing we need to talk about, of course, there will be a demo on Sun and Moon on August 18th, apparently. I mean, it's already October, and August was a couple of months ago, but, apparently I don't know how to make notes, apparently. So, yeah, we all have to jump in the time machine and go back to August 18th to actually get the demo, because of some sort of time continuum mistake that Game Freak and Nintendo have made. No, it's supposed to be October 18th, but it's August 18th, apparently. No, it'll be on October 18th, so in 14 days, well, close to 13 days by the time I'm recording this particular video, since it's getting late in regards to this. But this demo is special and very important for one big reason. You will be able to use a special Pokemon, and once Pokemon Sun and Moon come out, you can transfer that special Pokemon to Sun and Moon. And what is this particular special Pokemon, you ask? Well, of course, if you've already seen all this information, you already know. So go ahead and type in the comments what that is. So that's the end of the video. No, I'm just kidding. And of course, it's Ash-Greninja, which is also very good, but it does come off a little rushed. If you've watched my anime reviews, you know I'm having a little problem with certain aspects in regards to Ash-Greninja, the way that it was announced. The possibility of Ash releasing Greninja in of itself is a problem, but I don't want to fault the anime. I don't want to fault the anime, or I don't want to fault the games for what the anime is doing, and it's kind of annoying. But like I said, it does seem like it wasn't planned to be in the game, but they decided, oh, okay, we want these in the games. Let's quickly come up with some way to put Ash-Greninja into the games or whatever. So that's what it looks like. At the very least, however, the anime will anger me greatly with in regards to that one episode that's coming up in a few weeks. In fact, it's what, 2 days after this particular demo comes out. Pretty close to it, or yeah, it's coming close. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, or whatever the circumstances. So I'll at least be satisfied with being able to play Ash-Greninja within my games. So that's it for this particular video. New information will show up 4 days before the demo on October 14th, I believe is what it was said. October 14th is the date for new information in regards to Pokemon Sun and Moon. I have no idea what that will be. It could be in relation to Koro. And if you remember, this month's Koro is supposed to reveal Type Null's secret, not Tapu Koko, the moronic mistake that I made in my previous video. No, 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 no. Type Null, not the electric fairy, the normal type with the helmet and the chimera. That particular Pokemon. Type Null will have a secret that will be revealed this particular month in regards to Koro. And who knows, whatever Koro else might offer. I don't know what that particular information will reveal on October 14th. I have no idea. We are kind of getting to the end of everything. Like this particular point, I don't expect we're going to get a huge batch of information. But, maybe we'll get a couple more new Pokemon. Maybe we'll get maybe one more Alolan form, maybe Persian, because I have a hard time imagining Persian or Meowth, Alolan Meowth evolving into normal Persian. So maybe we'll get Alolan Persian. Maybe we'll get Mega Evolution. Maybe, it's really hard to say because we're getting really close to the release date, and I'm sure there will be secrets that have yet to be revealed in regards to Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see in regards to what October 14th and Koro have to offer us this particular month. So that's it for this particular video. Hope you enjoyed watching this. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.